Hello everybody, Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Mastermind Creations' reformatted series, Stray Asterisk Mode. This is a repaint with a few extra accessories of the original MMC Stray figure, otherwise known as Not Drift. The alt mode that we start with is beautiful. This dark blue, silver, charcoal, and gold coloring on this alt mode is just lovely. Plus, I adore this car mode. It is so futuristic and sexy. Yes, it does have a cockpit, but there is no way anything is fitting inside there. The figure can hold its swords in this mode, in this configuration. We've got two larger swords for big chopping action, and then one long fighting sword that sticks out the back. That's really my only, negative in this mode, is the fact that this giant sword sticks out the back. And these swords are super shiny! Super shiny! And they unpeg and come out very easily. I do greatly appreciate the fact that they are able to be stored in this mode. However, the big sword does require a bit of assembly once you get it off the back, and it is very difficult to get it connected into the hilt and pommel. There's a lot of force that's required there, and then getting it separated is even more force is needed. But I like it, and that sword design looks familiar, especially if you follow the comic books from IDW. Now up close and personal, the car mode looks so good. Its wheels are a little bit weird. The back wheels spin freely, but then the front wheels have like this inner wheel that spins on both both front wheels, and those wheels don't spin very easily. It's not easy to get those things to move. There's a lot of pressure that you need to get them to move, but oh well, not that big a deal. Transformation for this guy is surprisingly easy. Given the history of third-party figures, I'm pleasantly surprised here. Start off with, come to the front bumper and unpeg them, and then turn them around 180 degrees. Come to the top sides of the vehicle mode, come to the front wheel wells of the vehicle mode, and wiggle them apart from the rest of the body, and unpeg them from the rear wheel wells, and then we could flip them out and pull them apart from the rest of the body like this. Turn the figure around so we're at the bottom of the car mode, and then take the wheel and roll it back, and that way we could flip out the entire car section and connect it to the knees. So do the same thing, take the bumper, flip it back, and then flip out the whole section and connect it to the knee. So now that we've got the leg extended, take the bumper and turn it 180 degrees, pointing up the leg, and then come down to the bottom of the foot. This silver section will accordion up into the shin. Then we can take what will be the toe, point it straight down, grab the entire gray section, fold it down, and then flip the heel up into place. And there we go. There are the legs, all transformed nice and neat. Returning to the top of the car mode, first thing we're going to do is take the cockpit, pull it up, and then bring it down a little bit along the body of the vehicle. Then we can come to the back here, grab the rear wheel wells and pull them away from the body. Don't pull too hard because the ball joints will pop apart. So just kind of gently accordion them out like that. And then if you do pull them apart, just put them back together. Turning the rear of the car mode around so that we're looking at the bottom of it, you can then grab the arms and pull them away from the shoulders, and then take the arms and fold them down so the thrusters are pointing towards the bottom of the car mode, and do that on both sides, just being very gentle and careful not to pop any ball joints. Take the rear engine compartment of the car mode and fold it out like that. And then you can grab the entire front section like this, open it up so we can flip out the robot head like that. Close that up, and then put the arms so they're pointing straight up like that. That section that we flipped out, there are these little gray bits that we have to levy out or leverage out. I'll just use one of the swords to do that. What this is going to do is going to fill in the gap right underneath the armpits. So now that's folded up, we peg that into place, connect it up, and then close these sections over the armpits, or the armpit holes that we have, like that. And then come to the back again and spread these, or the front of the vehicle mode, spread it apart, and these will become the side wings, like so. And then the canopy will sit down on its butt. And then finally, what we're going to do is take the entire torso section and turn it 100, or rotate it 180 degrees. And that will allow us the shoulders in the correct position. And then we turn the head 180 degrees, and we straighten out the arms like this. And continue to pop the ball joint apart. Can you guess one of the problems I have with the figure? Well, really the main problem I have with the figure. Now, the last few things that we're going to do are simply clean up. We've already done the armpit sections. There's this section back here, which is supposed to fold up like this. More on that later. And then the wheels on the back, you just line them up correctly, and they will collapse up into the shoulders like this, which is a really neat touch. MMC has done an excellent job with this figure. I love the paint, I love the look, I love the styling, the head sculpt. Everything about it is just ticking all of those boxes for me. I'm liking this color scheme a lot more than I did the white as well. Well, the original white and red of Drift, that is. As you can see in robot mode, those little side wings act as sheaths for the swords, or the shorter, fatter swords. And that little piece that we flipped out at the end of the transformation on the figure's back is a holder for the larger katana-like blade. The head and chest designs are just close enough to IDW's Drift to be recognizable, as that's who this figure is supposed to be, but it's unique enough that they're not going to have any copyright issues. I think the painting on this figure is really well done. The gold on the face and then the more sallow goldish copper on the crest works incredibly well with the blue on this character. Head is on a ball joint, and it does allow a good deal of rotation. Can't really look, well, the figure can look down quite a bit, but can't look up that much because of the size of, well, the back of his head. Shoulders are on ball joints that allow quite a bit of range of movement, but be careful, as you have already seen, the one ball joint, specifically on this side of the figure, does have a tendency to pop off quite easily, though it goes back on very easily, thankfully. Just below the shoulder is a swivel, and then below that is a double bend at the elbow. Fists do articulate on a swivel. Hands open and close, though the amount of force needed to open those hands is actually pretty high because that pin in the plastic is very tight. But after you do it a couple of times, it does become a lot easier, and it can hold all of the swords and even some of the 3.5 millimeter figure weapons from the main Transformers lines. Torso articulation is standard side to side. There is no ab crunch. There are skirts in the front that allow the figure to kick forward at almost 90 degrees. Moving the cockpit out of the way allows the figure to kick back at least 90 degrees, if not a little bit higher. Moving the sheaths all the way to their utmost right position, you could get nearly a 180 degree split. Both legs have a good thigh swivel and can bend at 90 degrees at the first knee and just about 90 degrees at the second knee. There are ball joints in the ankles, and the toes have a ball joint, and there is a hinge joint at the heel for the transformation. Thanks to the posability of this figure, you can pull off some really cool poses, and this one is my particular favorite. However, getting this figure to cross his arms resulted in me popping off his shoulders more than once. Those large shoulder ball joints are really problematic, and they just pop off so easily. So instead of there being movement at the swivel at the upper arm, the shoulder joint pops off. Nothing you can't fix quickly, but it is annoying. So this is probably a prime candidate for a little bit of floor polish remover in these joints back here. Also, I have noticed that the figure is very top heavy, thanks to, well, these giant shoulder panels. Those are the bits that are super top heavy. Oh, and the wheels have a tendency to pop off as well. All the joints, except for those shoulder ball joints, are nice and tight. So just that little bit of pressure and they pop right out. If you're thinking of picking up this figure, that is something to think about and consider. Now, one thing that is amazing is I want to show you the original concept for this figure. It's god-awful. Oh man, is it bad. I mean, look at that mess. That's some Transformers Cyberverse level of quality there. A quick size comparison shows you that this figure is roughly the same size as a current Voyager class figure from the main Transformers lines, like Power of the Primes, Titans Returns, and Siege. Unfortunately, it doesn't really scale similarly to Cyberverse. I mean, look, Cyberverse Bumblebee is smaller than a current class deluxe figure, so... Now, the last thing we need to talk about with this figure is the last accessory that he comes with, which is this dope cloak. Just goes right over his head, and then you end up with a fully posable cloak. Now, the cloak has a little metal strand running through it, and it also comes with this extra piece as well. And posing it, it's a little bit of a pain, but once you get it on, he looks sweet, and you can end up with some awesome poses. Mastermind Creations continues their trend in 2018 of making excellent third-party figures that have their own twist on characters that we already know and love. I've never been a huge fan of Drift. That's why I went with this color scheme. The cloak and the swords were just icing on the cake. I'm smitten with this thing. Yeah, it's got some issues with the shoulders, but the transformation's fun, both modes are excellent, and the extras it comes with add just that extra little mwah to the figure. If you could pick this figure up, I highly recommend it. It is currently available over at thebigbadtoystore.com, and one thing I forgot to mention is it is a TFCon exclusive, so you're going to be paying a little bit extra than you would for the original Stray figure. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to hit that bell so you know when a new video is up. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I am Baltmatrix, and I will catch you next time.